Hello, and welcome to another Season 11 video. Today's video is going to act as a guide for Poison Nova Necromancer, which is my go-to mapper for Season 11. It is my second character that I've created after my bosser character, the Maul Druid. And I wanted to share with everyone because I think that one, this is an amazing character, extremely fun to play. Two, it is extremely underrated by the community, or if it's not underrated, at the very least, it's underplayed. And yeah, I just wanted to kind of share this character, give a guide to it so people know how to approach it, know what to focus on, and how to play it. And I'll do a little bit of a demonstration. I saved a couple maps for my session last night, and I'll just pick like a couple of them and we'll run them just to show how crazy this character is. With that said, let's get into just generally what Poison Nova is, what it does, how do you play it, and how do you set it up. So Poison Nova is this skill we remember maybe from the old days. I have very good memories of this skill from like 20 years ago. I think it's one of the coolest skills in the game. So Poison Nova releases Poison Nova around you. It's basically you cast it standing, so wherever you go, you can't like move as you cast it. It stops to cast it, and it sends like this little nova around you, and it poisons everything around you. Poison is a little trickier compared to other elemental builds because it doesn't enjoy things like infinity rune wards, like to low resistances. You strictly rely on your own like Poison Pierce and Poison Mastery, and if you have lower resist, of course. But since lower resist has to be cast before the Poison Nova actually hits, it makes like playing the build maybe a little clunky if you try to rely on lower resist to kill stuff. So that's generally how you approach this. You teleport around and you just like send like Poison Novas and you keep going and things will die. Like you have to trust that your Poison Nova will kill everything that it touches because it really is that powerful. So to set up this build, we have 20 points in Poison Nova, 20 points into Desecrate, and 20 points into Poison Strike. These are the synergies to Poison Nova. With 1 point into Bone Armor, you can have more, but you want at least 1 point. Bone Armor is your main way to stay alive and to stay kind of like in the game. In your summoning tree, you would like to have a total of 30 points into Blood Warp with your gear. This is of course after your bow, which should put you into 30 as you can see. So you'd like to have about 30 in Blood Warp. I personally like having 20 hard points into Golem Mastery, maxing Golem Mastery so I can have more Blood Golems. Blood Golems are basically leeching for you. They will like, as they're attacking, they'll heal you. So you'll see that like them like attacking here can like, oh well, I guess we're fighting undeads there. But as you can see, they're attacking, they will heal you. And they're like a big reason why this build feels a lot safer than it looks like. So I really like having all Blood Golems, but you can invest in other points as well. At least 1 point in revives. Having the revives helps like put more bodies, you know, into the battlefield. This is a build that teleports very aggressively, so as many bodies alongside with you will make you safer. So at least 1 point in revives. In the curse page, I'm only level 90 at the moment, so I would like to have, by level 92, I would like to have lower resist. Despite what I said about lower resist, for killing bosses, lower resist could make it a little bit faster, so I would like to have 1 point over here. I wouldn't put more than 1 point in here. As you can see, you have so many plus skills that will basically be a very strong lower resist with just 1 point. The rest of the points I'm planning to dump into revives. You can additionally dump them into either Bone Armor or the synergies to get just better defensive. But both are okay in that sense. For the gear, you'll have enough strength and dexterity to wear your gear. Dexterity, you basically don't need anything. Unless you use very specific, I don't know, something, maybe a CTA base that requires more dex, I don't know, but try to use just like a crystal sword for it. Strength, I'm using a very high strength requirement, F Carapace, so it requires a lot. If you use other bases, we'll talk about the gear in a moment. If you use anything with less strength, obviously you need less strength. When it comes to block and using like max block, I don't like using max block on the setup. It is unnecessary and it slows you down, so I chose to opt against it. For Vitality, you put absolutely 0 points. As you can see, my base stat is 15. I just get Vitality from my gear. And everything else goes into energy. You want to dump everything into energy because this is what makes your Bone Armor so strong. As you can see, my Absorb, maybe you can't see it because it's incredibly small, but it's like at 1400. You can make it go even higher depending on what gear you use. So that's the attributes and the skill setup for my Poison Nova. And now let's talk about the gear. So for the gear, the weapon is unreplaceable pretty much. We are using the Death's Web. This one is not perfect, but it does help us quite a bit. And I'll talk about breakpoints as well while talking about the gear. There are like several breakpoints you want to hit. So we are going with a Death's Web. It gives you +2 to all skills, +3 to poison and bone, which is very important. We got a 20 FCR slam that helps us reach our 125 FCR breakpoint. This is a must-have for this build. You do not want anything lower than this. Definitely, you need that FCR, so you get it where you can. The reason why Death's Web is so unreplaceable is because of its amazing Poison Pierce. On the base, it can have up to -20, and as you can see, with 2 facets in the sockets, it is -27 Poison Pierce, -27 Poison Resistance. This is about 1/3 of our Elemental Pierce, and the reason why Elemental Pierce is so important for Necromancer is because that's how you reduce basically every monster's like Poison Resistance. For most maps you'll run, you'll have about 80, you'll see that like 65, 75, maybe 85 in poison resistance. Some monsters, mobs have a little bit more, so you want at least to shoot around there. I'm not there yet. You can get there with like a few more optimizations or a few changes in your gear, but of course it's not easy, but get it as close as you can to there. But as you can see, Death's Web, incredible part of our damage and is very important. You can theoretically craft crazy, wands that are very strong, but none of them, in my opinion, can beat Death's Web. So this is the wand of choice to go with. In addition, it gives life and mana after each kill, which is really nice to have, as this build should be self-sustaining pretty much completely. You don't want to be drinking potions unless an emergency is going on. So that's what we use Death's Web. For the helm, we're using a circlet, a Necromancer circlet. We're using a 220 circlet with 3 sockets, of course, so we can put 3 5/5 facets inside. And just as a reminder, if you are going with a bit more of a budget approach, these circlets can be more cheap. If you buy a cheaper one with 3 sockets, you can use -5 facets with 3 to poison skill damage if you just want to lower the costs on what you're buying. But the minus resistance is very important, and we get another -15 from the circlet and 20 FCR to help us build into this 125 breakpoint. Again, very important. We need every bit of FCR that we can get. It also has some all resistances, which is another great stat to have on it. Having flat life, flat mana, mana after each kill, things like that on the circlet is also nice. That's what I ended up with. So these 2 pieces are normally staying the same. Another piece that usually stays the same is the gloves. There is no way to replace Triangel's Claws. 15 to poison skill damage, 30 FCR. You want that FCR slam again. Puts you together with these 2 at 70 already. So really important. Gives you some cold res as well, which is really nice to have. So overall, in my opinion, a must have. On this build, you don't have to have 15 poison skill damage, but as much as you can will definitely help your damage. For the belt, we're using an Arachnid's Mesh. This one is slammed with FCR to give us 25. Again, together, all these pieces right now give us a total of 95 FCR. We're still missing 30. We'll show soon where we get that from. But 25 FCR gives you some max mana, which is definitely nice. And +1 to all skills. So amazing belt. In my opinion, again, irreplaceable. On more budget setups, you could use a 3-piece Trangs, which I think I have here. I might have not kept the Trang pieces. Yeah, I might have not kept them. But 3-piece Trangs with a Claws belt and the Necro Head. I forget the name of it right now. Can be used as a substitute for budget approaches, but this is generally what you want to aim for. For the armor, this is where things get more flexible. I'm using an F Carapace. That's why I have so much strength. F Carapace gives you an insane amount of defense. You'll see that my defense right now is at 4k, but outside it's even higher at almost 10k, which is much better. Makes it so you don't get hit as much, which definitely helps the survivability of this build, which again is very important to take care of. So F Carapace, amazing option. We got one with 3 sockets, which will give us also 15 poison pierce and 15 poison skill damage to our stats. So again, contributing over here. In addition, it gives 2 skills and 40 FHR. which now brings me to talking about FHR. As you can see, FHR, we're hitting a very high breakpoint at 152. I would say that below 86, you're going to start feeling pain. 86 is playable. It is fine. I like having 152. I think that is the breakpoint you should aim for with this build if you can. So we're using an F carapace for it. 40 FHR, amazing option. Really, really nice, and I recommend it. Alternative options are Arcanes, 2 skills, 3 sockets, FHR as well, a lot of vitality. So it is a very nice option. You can, of course, use things like Hagen for a more budget approach. Hagen, Atmas, that will give you more mana, FHR, faster cast rate. So they all contribute towards the things you want. They're all great options. If you need more res, you can use something like Viper Magi, even though you will be more fragile with it. So pay attention, what you're up to. A Spirit Shroud can give you CBF if you don't have it yet, and give you FCR and plus skill. So these are all the general options that I can recommend. There are, of course, a lot of crafted options that could be amazing as well, but let's not get into that rabbit hole. So with that said, we move to the ring and amulet slots, and I'm using 2 FCR wisps, and that's 20 more FCR, putting us at a total of 115, and we'll have like 10 more from the amulet. You can use other skill rings. You don't have to have FCR on the rings. This is, of course, very expensive to get. These rings costed about 12 high runes each, which is pretty good, actually, in my opinion. They have pretty low lightning absorb. Both have 4. Oh, no, one of them has 6. So actually, no, they're pretty good rings, I would say. They're pretty good rings. The MF on them is good. I like running Wisp because of the MF. I like having some MF on builds that farm so fast, and I'll show where else I'm getting my MF from very soon. So I really like these Wisps. Other options are 20 FCR rings. Using Constricting Loop, the new ring, is very, very nice, especially if you're using something like Carapace that needs so much strength. Constricting Loops can help you with saving these attributes as well. So Constricting Loops, great option. Scale Rings, great option. Just rare rings with res and 20 FCR or other such useful mods are also options in case you want to go more budget with what you're going for. For the amulet, this is an amulet that actually self-desecrated recently. Just like a couple of days ago when I was like trying to build this Necro. I was like looking for all sorts of FCR amulets. So this one has 2 to Necromancer skills, 10 FCR, 1 skill slam, and we desecrated it for Cannot Be Frozen, which is great because we were really missing it on our build. Otherwise, I would have probably used the boots slot to get CBF, which could have also been fine. So this is what we ended up going with. Luckily, this one also had fire resistance, which we kind of needed. So all of this kind of lined up perfectly for me, and this works great for my taste. And yeah, that's the amulet we made. You could also use 4 to skills and 10 FCR, 4 to skills, and 20 FCR if you manage to make one. There's a lot of different options on this one. You can, of course, use just like a blue +5 Necro amulet if you want to. So that's another option, like a Poison and Bone +3 and +2 to all skills with maybe like another mod on it or something like that, like FCR. That could be also pretty incredible. So there's a lot of different options for amulets, but generally speaking, I'd stay away from unique amulets and look towards crafted amulets or gambled amulets. They seem to be performing better in my opinion. And for the boots, I'm using silk weaves. These are self-made silk weaves, so I wanted to give them some use. Generally speaking, it seems like I don't really need the extra mana and life per kill. The ones I get from Death's Web, from Bone Flame, which I haven't talked about yet, seem to be enough region for me to kind of go about my way. So generally speaking, you could use either silk weaves, rare boots with resistances if you need to get your resistances to the right spot. You do want high resistances on this build because otherwise you are going to get smooshed. So you could use rare boots with Make or Lake Slam or PDR Slam, whatever you can find on the market or find by yourself, I guess. You can use something like CBF boots, like Marowaks. That could be perfectly fine to use. So there's a lot of different options that you could go for. It's really up to you to figure out what makes most sense for you. And for the last slot, we have a Bone Flame. Bone Flame is a great option because it gives free to Necromancer skills, up to 30 all res, up to 20 PDR, and up to 8 life after each kill. Great for sustain, great for survivability. It could be replaced with insane Necro heads to have like +2 to all skills, to Necro skills, and +3 to Poison Nova. and have 3 sockets and all res rolls. These are incredibly rare, almost non-existent. I've seen like 2 that were kind of okay while searching stuff, and even then, like, they weren't like better than the Bone Flame, so I ended up not going for them. Overall, if you're going with Bone Flame, this is a very easy to find. It exists on the market with 3 sockets. That's your best slam, so that's what I would go for. So this is what we went for, and of course 3 5/5 facets inside to help us get more and more pierce, more and more mastery. And this is the gear we're using. On the swap we have a CTA and a lidless wall. You don't have to have like perfect ones, just have something. The extra plus skill does help, the extra life and mana help, right? Like just getting like that, you can see this almost like half of my HP over here, so really nice to have. We talked about the attributes, the gear. Let's talk a little bit about the charms. Now, generally speaking, there are 2 things sorry, you really want to consider with the charms. One is the FHR. You'll see that we only had FHR really on the steel carapace. The rest of the FHR comes from all these GCs. They help me get this 152 breakpoint. So really important to get some of these, at least to get to the 86 breakpoint. It really is important. I cannot stress this enough. This really makes the gameplay work the way it does. This is not a build that is like easy to farm with like early on. Like it needs a lot of like parts to become the beast that it really will become, and I'll demonstrate that soon. So I really like the FHR skillers. You could use some faster run walk skillers as well, mostly for looting. You can use life skillers if you want to, or whatever else you enjoy using. That's what I went with. For the small charms, I use 5 all res with MF. Again, I said I like having MF on my gear, and some lightning resistant charms with MF just to cap our lightning resistances. 1 large charm for poison skill damage and FHR. Again, perfect torch and not perfect 20 res 2 skill and nihilist with some vitality and energy and a solid experience roll. This one I actually ID'd and self-made, so pretty happy with that. And this is the gear we're using. It is important to say about the charms that using 2 large charms instead of 1 skiller is actually more efficient. I don't think I have them right now over here. Yeah, I don't think I have them. But generally speaking, you get more damage from using 2 large charms. The one thing you might want to remember when swapping large charms for GC plus small charm is that you are losing this all resistances, you are losing some benefits, you're losing some MF if you are running MF like me. So I really like this balance. You are doing a lot of damage with your Nova this way, so it's not like you're losing a lot of damage. If I swapped like 2 of these, like this will move from 12k to 13k to 12k to 13k. It wouldn't change by a lot. I've tested like running 6 large arms with the skillers, and I think that's like a pretty solid place. Like I could get to like 13k lower damage probably if I do that. So with this current gear. So it is definitely possible to push your damage slightly upwards, but it's important to remember what you're losing for it. And I do like having some MF on my gear, so you'll just have to bear with me, but you can go ahead and use large arms as well. Okay, with that said, we kind of covered the skills, the attributes, the gear. Let's talk a little bit about the merc. I'm using the prayer merc, the cold merc from Act 3. This is kind of like the go-to merc for this build, and the go-to weapon for it is the Dungoon's Teaching. This one is used mostly for its Frost Nova on striking. The reason we want that is because we're using the Innocence armor that will proc it for us. So we're using Innocence armor, give it a lot of defense, a lot of survivability for this merc. He's going to teleport with you pretty aggressively, so you want to have that on him. This is a very important piece of the puzzle, and it will cast this Dungoon's Teaching. Thanks to Ars for teaching me. I put a Ja rune in this because apparently Blade Shield enjoys ignore target defense, and it does do like an AR check to see if it hits. So using this Ja rune in the Dungoon's Teaching makes it so it procs more often. So this is a very nice little tidbit of information. I was glad to learn this for this build. So thank you, Arts. We put 2 5/5 facets. These are cold facets, of course, not poison. They're just green to match like my facets. So we put 2 facets in here to match. we got this Innocence. Another key piece is the Exile. Exile Rune Ward procs the Crepify for you, and it's a big part of you staying safe while playing. Of course, it will also give the Merc a lot of res if you put in the right base and a lot of defense. So great option to keep your Merc topped off on res, and also to give the Decrepify proc, which keeps both of you safe. For the Helm, we're using a Nightwings, again giving him more Pierce and more cold skill damage. If you look at the Merc right now, you'll see that he has incredible resistances, but more so incredible Mastery and Elemental Pierce. So it really does incredible damage with the setup. I really like it. For the gloves and belt, we're using 30 FCR gloves and belt. You can use crafted ones. I'm using a crafted belt for 30 FCR to give him just like that extra breakpoint at 58. Getting the 39 breakpoint is fine. It is really okay and kind of like up to you. You can substitute this belt for a PDR belt as well with 10 FCR, and this way hit the 40 FCR breakpoint with 30 FCR gloves, and all of that is perfectly fine. For the boots, he's using Marowaks for the CBF and the PDR. He also needs the strength in order to wear this Innocence, so like I needed to give him something to have strength with. You can use half freeze duration boots if you'd like to, but there's not really a big reason to, because I mean, yeah, the boot slot is not going to do a lot for the Merc outside of giving resistances or PDR from his slam. It's up to you basically. Using like something like this is perfectly fine, and that's what I ended up going with. And yeah, that's the gear setup for both me and the Mercenary. And I think this is the time where we start demonstrating this build. Now, generally speaking, the way you play this is you'll hop into a game, you'll pop a map, you'll hop in, you'll make sure you have your golems up, and then you'll summon, like with Desecrate, you'll summon some revives. It doesn't matter too much which revives they are. You can just go like 1, 2, 3, right, summon, whatever, and you can start popping. You can focus more on the revives if you want to, but I think it's a waste of time. The wisps give me this spirit, but generally speaking, you don't have to have it. It's not going to do a lot of work for you. It's just going to be there kind of. And once you have everything summoned, you make sure you have your bone armor up. You're going to start teleporting and destroying everything, and you'll basically just be teleporting, throwing poison novas. So I'm going to try and demonstrate that. We're going to go a little bit slower than I go normally because I'm going to be talking in the same time. So I'm going to demonstrate a Horizon, and maybe I'll show the cows. Like I have a 178 cows I kind of saved from last night. I saw I popped like a high slam on the density, so I could just kind of wanted to show it. So I'll show these two maps. You'll see how speedy this character is. On the first one, I am going to chat a little bit through the map just to kind of talk things through. And on the second one, I'm just going to go through it as fast, or not as fast as I can, but just like to show like the speed of the character in the different tiers. So let's go ahead and pop in. As you can see, 1, 2, 3, we summon whatever we're getting, and we're starting to pop in. And we got Minions of Destruction here, and these guys are pretty chunky. So sometimes you have to make sure you're actually killing them, as you can see. So you might want to pop a little bit more. As you can see, the gameplay is like you teleport around, you throw your Poison Novas in tactical locations, and things will just kind of die from it. They can't help it, they just don't have enough health. And you should be absolutely demolishing the maps. As you can see, whenever the area is like pretty dense, you'll just go around like this. And as you can see, since we are teleporting very aggressively, we do want that high FHR. We are put into FHR every now and then. You want to make sure you refresh your bone armor. This is like something you want to be watching out for. There are two ways people kind of go about playing this build, where like they either loot. I dropped a tiara somewhere. Loot as they play. I have no idea where I dropped it. Oh, I dropped it like way back there. So some people loot as they play, like some people loot after they kill everything. Okay, sorry. I just really wanted to check that tiara. I have a little tiara obsession, you know? So some people will loot only after they finish the map. They find it more effective. That's perfectly fine. This build is very fast, as you guys can see. It's very fast paced, so you can just focus on killing everything and then like loot at the end, and it's still faster than most builds would be anyway. So yeah, that's what we do. For the bosses, I use Desecrate. I don't use Poison Nova. I just like throw a Poison Nova to kill everything around the boss, and then I just keep going. Let me pick up a full cut theme. I actually like this map. So yeah, let's go ahead and drop this. Whenever you see anything that is like relatively tanky, you can throw down a Desecrate for it. And you guys can tell me what is like the fastest time you normally clear maps at. You can see that even while like taking my time here to explain what I'm doing and going around to look for stuff, the speed on this build is actually incredible. As I said, you can kind of see the Crepify proccing the cold novas, softening like the packs for you. It's a very important part of the build. It really helps keep you safe. As you can see, we cleared this part pretty fast, and the boss as well. We can try and pick up the speed if we'd like to. You just this is the kind of build where you kind of have to trust that you're going to kill everything. You have to trust your own damage, your own capabilities of destruction. As you can see at the back, like outside of like things getting obstructed by obstacles or like pillars, things like that, things that get hit by your poison nova will die. And as long as you keep up your bone armor, you will not, which is something I have to make sure that I'm doing. And if you peep the DPS counter as well, you'll see that like the damage is pretty incredible in this build, even when I am like you know, taking my time here. And surely this playstyle will not fit everyone, but if you are people who really enjoy this kind of speed mapping approach, not looting everything like flawless gems and jewels, but mostly focusing on high runes generation and like super rare items, this definitely is the kind of build that you would enjoy playing. I personally really like that kind of approach, so obviously for me it's like awesome. I've been really enjoying playing this build after like doing 14-hour sessions on the, like my mole bear and just like streaming and doing everything. Even after all that, like I'll finish the stream and I'll still like pop a couple of maps on this build, and I find it really fun. Everybody has their own kind of like preferences. Yeah, normally this map would take me like 4 minutes, at least in other clears that I've done of Horizon. We are taking a little bit longer here, but again, even 5 minutes for a Horizon is usually pretty good. Here we'll even pretend to loot a little bit. As you can see, things outside of like poison immune things do tend to just kind of die, unless they somehow get missed by your poison nova. Let me just have a look. 19 ult res, 20 FCR, 1 to passive and magic. This could have been a very nice something else. 24 ult res. Do we want to slam any of these? Not really. Maybe this. Here, we bricked it for the video. Alright, so this is kind of like an example of a tier 1 map done pretty fast. I will now mute my microphone so I don't like so I don't start yapping. For the second map demonstration, we'll show a cow map. I think the cow map will be pretty fun to show. It's pretty dense. I think it's the densest thing that I have here, so yeah, let me go with that. And yeah, that's generally the Poison Nova Necro. So I'll go in, I'll do the map real quick. If you do enjoy this content, make sure to drop a like and subscribe to support the content. I'll try to bring as many guides like these to the channel so people can play more and more characters with like understanding of what they can and should do in order to play them. But yeah, with that said, let's jump into this cow map and make some stakes. And yeah, this is the rune generator, Rune Maker. The Poison Noah Necro. I hope you enjoy this guide. I'm going to go around and collect my stuff now that we've left all around the map. All sorts of things that I might be interested in picking up. But yeah, this is the gameplay. For people who do find it enjoyable, I really recommend giving this kind of build a try. Give it, just give it a shot. I think it's really, really fun. So I personally, I'm going to enjoy this build a lot. Especially for people like me, again, who really don't like picking up too much stuff. I don't want to stop during the video, but actually do want the keys, which I think I dropped here. And yeah, this is generally how it goes about. Not much more to it. I hope this guide and demonstration was enjoyable to everyone. And yeah, that you found it useful if you do want to build this in the future. As you can see, I'm using Desecrate sometimes just to kill like the tankier stuff. So go ahead and do that if you do find some stuff like they're not dying. And yeah, that's about it. I hope I see you in the next stream or the next video. Wherever I see you, have a good whatever you're having. Until the next time, bye bye bye.